Now we look at the second example for the second form. So evaluate this function, this radical function. Evaluate the limit of this radical function. So we can see that in this example, this is approach negative infinity. So there is some little bit different here. So next is, you can see that in the highest degree in the denominator is x. So on the same time, you have to remember that x also equals to square root of x squared. So next, what I have to do is limit when x approach negative infinity. So here 6x plus 5 divided by x, same as the numerator, square root of 3 times square root of 9x squared minus 1 divided by x, because the highest degree of x in denominator. But there's something here. Since x is approach negative infinity, what does x approach negative infinity means? Means that x will become smaller and smaller. So in other words, we can say that x is less than 0. Means that it's a negative. Because x is approach negative infinity, means that x is less than 0 or negative. So what we have to do is we have to put a negative. So of course, either you can put on the denominator or the numerator. So we cannot put both sides, because if negative, it will become positive. So we cannot put here and here. Why? Because if negative, it will become positive. So it's either you put on the denominator or numerator. So let's say here, in this case, I put on the denominator. So next, limit when x approach negative infinity. From here, I will change this x to square root of x squared, because here is involving the square root. So I change to square root of x squared. So here is 3. Let's say I rewrite here, square root of 9x squared minus 1 over square root of x squared. Whereas for the denominator is 6x plus 5 over square root of x. Now I will combine this radical. So what I have here is limit when x approach negative infinity. Here is 3 square root of, I put a big square root, 9x squared over x squared minus 1 over x squared. For the denominator, here is 6x over negative x plus 5 over negative x. Next, I try to simplify. Limit when x approach negative infinity. Here is 3 in the bracket, 9 minus 1 over x squared over, here is negative 6, because x divided by x is negative 6, plus minus, here will become minus 5 over x. So here is positive, here is negative. Positive, negative will become negative. Here is 6x divided by negative x, negative 6. So any value substitute by the infinity will become 0. So what we have here is equals to 3 square root of 9 over negative 6. So here is 3 times 3 minus over negative 6. So here is 9 over negative 6, or here is equals to negative 3 over 2. So here is the answer for the second example. So in this example, when this approach negative infinity, you have to be careful, because when x, you can see here, when x approach negative infinity, means that x is less than 0 or a negative. So we have to put a negative, but not on the denominator and numerator, either one side. So in this case, I put on the denominator negative x. After that, we combine and simplify. So we should get the answer, which is negative 3/2.